welcome. This is Birbal Sahani, chapter number 7, An Institution Builder. The decade of 1930 was a time when nationalism and feeling of independence were peaking. The protests to express sentiments against the British rule were growing strongly. However, for Indian science, it happened to be a golden phase. Ramanujan, honored with Fellowship of Royal Society as an ace mathematician, was already an icon. J.C. Bose, S.N. Bose, and Meghnad Shah were impressing the world with their original contributions. Raman had just been honored with the Nobel in 1930. On one hand, these things seemed to dent the long felt inferiority complex, a result of almost 2 centuries of colonial rule and biased curricula in the education system. But one also may interpret this as a growing desire of Indians to prove India's intellectual superiority to the world. Despite this, most Indian scientists found it difficult to fight the bias and face problems in having their research work published within a reasonable time in these journals, which were all foreign based. Following discussion among Raman, Saha, Sahani, and others, a new journal by the name Current Science was started in 1932 at Bangalore. It is rated high and is still being published regularly. Professor Sani felt that there should be a platform for botanists in India where they could discuss science. So he took the initiative and played a major role in the establishment of Indian Botanical Society in the year 1920. In the year 1924, the demand became vocal when the then editor of Nature visited India. He also became its president. Given that science in India was progressing in many disciplines, the need for Indian Science Academy on the pattern of the Royal Society of London was also acutely felt. Birbal Sahni, among others like C.V. Raman and Meghnad Shah, played a major role in this too. Later, he also served as its president. He was one of the 15 founding members of the National Academy of Sciences NASI, Nasi, Allahabad, now Prayagraj, in 1930. He also was a president of NASI for 2 terms in 1937 to 39 and 1943 to 44. Later, when Professor C.V. Raman was working to establish an academy at Bangalore, now Bangalore, Professor Sahani again played a significant role and was a founder member when the Indian Academy of Sciences IASC Bangalore was established on 24th April 1934 and served as the vice president from 1934 to 1949. He was also one of the 125 founder members of the National Institute of Sciences of India, NISI, at Kolkata in January 1935. It is now known as Indian National Science Academy INSA, New Delhi. Founding the Institute of Paleobotany at Lucknow. Professor Sani always felt that more and more scientists should research in paleobotany. This was possible only by getting more students and scientists exposed to and interested in paleobotany. This demanded an enhancement projection of the subject and regular dialogue in the paleobotanist community. So, the need for establishing a common platform for the scientific community was felt, and he convened a committee of Indian paleobotanists in 1939. The idea was to coordinate paleobotanical research in India and document the progress made on a regular basis. This initiative proved to be a major step towards the institutionalization of the study of this subject. The stage was thus being set for projecting paleobotany as a promising subject and developing it in all its dimensions as pure and applied sciences. Professor Sani brought like minded people together, and on May 1946, the Paleobotanical Society was formed. This ultimately proved to be the first step towards establishing a full fledged Institute of Paleobotany. The society was established in Lucknow with its office initially in the botany department of the University of Lucknow. The same year, on 10 September, the governing body of Paleobotanical Society resolved to establish an Institute of Paleobotany. The base was the Botany Department of the University of Lucknow. Thus, he was able to fulfill a long cherished dream. He also showed this penchant for opening new vistas while at the University of Lucknow. Professor Sani always believed that research is not possible by limiting oneself to an airtight domain of one subject. As mentioned earlier, understanding the role of geology in paleobotany, he prevailed upon the authorities to start the new department of geology at the University of Lucknow. So, while serving as the head of botany department at the University of Lucknow, he established a department of geology at the university and remained its head for the rest of his life till 1949. The foundation stone, as it says, not many are aware that Professor Sani was personally involved in making the foundation stone of the building of the institute. The foundation stone had 77 fossils embedded in it, ranging from pre Cambrian time, older than about 60 crore years, to pre-Christian era. The possible the fossils had been sourced from many countries. Some had been collected from Rajmahal Hills in Bihar for a few weeks before laying the foundation stone. On the occasion of its inauguration, Professor Sani said the stone is a somewhat unusual sort of monument. It has been purposely made up in this laboratory from an assortment of rocks and fossils from many different countries and from many geological forms from the oldest to the youngest, covering a span of time from at least 600 million years ago to only about the beginning of Christian era. Thank you.